Jai Mata. Charanam Sharanam Ramambige. Charanam Sharanam Trayambage. It was during my visits to Tellicherry in the early years that I had the golden opportunity to delve into their divine life and get glimpses and hear of many incidents from Mother and sometimes from Bhagavan himself. How vividly I remember those days. Often Mother would come into the guest room, tired by the various duties of a housewife. She would recline in the sofa there. Sometimes she would call me near and with great love and trust relate many episodes. Some I will bring here and there in this book, but there are some which will remain untold. Once she said, "My child, never lose your love and reverence for Bhagavan. He has no vasana. Mother put his human garb on him for a purpose, to be the altar of my worship, so as to hold before the world the ideal of Pati Bhakti. Mere preaching is not enough. Practice, Anubhava should be there. Only then will my message enter human hearts. Never belittle him in any way. Those who do not revere him will not get my grace fully. All of you worship me, but remember I worship him. When the Radha Krishna Bhava came upon me, I saw him wearing the Kirita and Kundala in the divine form of Krishna with my open eyes. When serving him, I saw his divine form only and often lost body consciousness. With delusive vision, who can understand these truths? And even though I tell all of you this about his divinity, yet it will remain a secret for times to come. One day, during the early days of her sadhana, Mother felt a desire to go to the temple. This was not a regular habit with her, as her sadhana was contained in the home and in silence. Generally, Bhagavan made no objection to her visiting this temple. So Mother got ready with a tray of flowers and fruits. She came to the veranda to take leave of Bhagavan. Suddenly he told her not to go to the temple. Usually she serenely obeyed whatever Bhagavan said. But that day, without any volition on her part, Mother went into deep samadhi. Regal and statuesque she stood, verily a goddess in her beauty and magnificence. Bhagavan was at first astonished, then disturbed. He began to feel that it was not his wife, but a celestial being who stood there. Hours passed thus. A feeling of anguish rose up in him, and he went near her with a compulsion to bow down before her. But at that moment, Mother came to body consciousness, opened her eyes, and howled down at his feet as was natural to her wifely dharma. Bhagavan gently said, "If I have hurt you, please forgive me." Mother replied, "You are my deity, and as your wife, I exist only in your will. So I pray to you to protect me." Seeing the remorse of Bhagavan's face, she continued, "Deva, do not be afraid. I will never waver in my duty to you, but you alone have to protect this body." Hearing these words, in a blinding flash of inner illumination, the realization came to Bhagavan that though in her dharma she existed in total surrender to his will and wish, yet in her real nature she was Supreme Shakti, bound to none, who never brooked any opposition to her divine will, and like Goddess Parvati, she would even sacrifice her body without a second thought in the divine Jwala. He knew with certainty that this was the meaning of Mother's enigmatic words. The impact of this revelation increased his surrender, and his intellect widened out into unerring perception of her will and wish. Many were the incidents, some simple, others esoteric and mysterious. Mother spoke of her wedding, when at the time of offering the garland to her husband, the earthly sphere vanished, and in that superconscious state, Mother saw herself as Sri Parvati garlanding Shiva. There were many a time in later years when Mother related this incident. It was even recorded in a short life sketch of Mother. But who realized the great truth she was revealing, that she could never wed a human mortal, that her eternal part Shiva had to take a human form with her for the great purpose of her advent. Years later at Shaktinagar, on the anniversary of Bhagwan's birthday, Mother worshipped Bhagwan's picture with all rituals and offered flowers chanting Om Namah Shivaya. It was her open avowal of Bhagwan's true nature. But who understood? Even when his statue was installed in Shaktinagar and daily worship came into being, our eyes were not open to reality. He remained always the bulwark of her life and mission till his final Mahasamadhi. It was such a joy to him to watch the progress of the mission. In his lifetime itself, the great turning point in Mother's mission took place. On October 1963, a meeting of all Mandirs were called at Mangalore, and with Mother presiding, a crucial decision was taken that the central mission should be at Mangalore, Mother's birthplace. Thus, the mission was put on a firm basis as a registered institution with all its rules and bylaws. Mother nominated my husband T.N.K Nair to be the founder president of the Central Mission. In the creation of the Central Mission, Bhagwan bestowed his heartfelt blessing. As long as Bhagwan was there, Mother would seek his blessings not only for her devotees but for all the great undertakings of the mission. Years rolled on, and it was in the month of April 1964 that I got a chance to go to Mangalore with two other devoted disciples of Mother, Mrs. M.B. Menon and Mrs. Nalini Verma. We had news that Bhagwan was ailing, and it was my desire to go and have his darshan. But my duties at home, the care of my ailing mother, had kept me from going till then. We remained at Mangalore for 2 or 3 days. Mother was very happy to see us. Bhagwan was in an unconscious state, and it was from his bedside that Mother talked to us. With what meticulous and loving care Mother nursed him. And though unconscious, Bhagwan always responded to Mother's call with a small echo of sound. We felt a great peace, knowing that it was her grace alone which had drawn us there to receive their blessings. Mother's softly spoken words were all about Bhagwan and his greatness. The day before we left, Mother called me to her as she had some message for my husband. I had the privilege to move closely with Bhagwan at Trichur, and during their visits to our homes in Trichur, Chalakudi and Trivandrum. He had a special corner of affection for me and had confided to me many a truth of Mother's life and divinity. As for me, Mother has ingrained in me absolute faith in his divine nature. Charanam Sharanam Ramambige, Charanam Sharanam Trayambage. Jai Mata.